Sunny Kabrawala is a rocket scientist, entrepreneur, and CEO of Star Orbitals, a a private rocketry company which aims to send objects into stratospheric heights, both literally and figuratively, at a very cost-effective price. An electronics engineer by profession, Mr. Kabrawala wants to pursue research in space technology. At the early age of 9, his passion in rockets was ignited when he built his first rocket. At the age of 19, he launched his startup Star, Space Technology and Aeronautical Rocketry, in 2015, a simple rocket club. In a mere 5 years, it has grown to such tremendous extent with achievements such as building the first small satellite of Surat, launching a solid propelled rocket engines, and constructing a Mars rover. Today, they focus on two missions: one, building a small satellite, and two, developing the cheapest launch vehicle in the world, a project named Phoenix, a reusable small satellite launch vehicle that is capable of lifting 150 kg of payload to sun synchronous polar orbit and beyond. He believes that his work at Star Labs won't change the world, but it will help us explore a new one. Like to give you Mr. Sunny Kabrawala. Uh, welcome, sir. Thank you again for giving us your time and being here. Uh, a few guidelines before we start the session. I would request all of you to keep your mic on mute uh, without any disturbances. Feel free to post your questions on the chat box. Don't No need to hesitate. All questions will be answered at the end during the Q&A. Thank you, sir. You can please begin.
Perfect. Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction and inviting me here. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Perfect. So we can start with the session. I would like this session to be interactive. I know many students in our country aspire to be space pioneers, and students are like, even I used to be confused. At different stages of my life. I know you guys have also got a lot of confusion in your life. Uh, I'm not a motivational speaker, but then in the end of engineering, a person, if do not become an engineer, he becomes a motivational speaker. But I'm not. I'm going to share three incidents of my life. Okay, three real stories, and then we'll open up this session for the Q&A. And then would like to take questions. It can be technical questions. It can be related to your career. It can be related to personal life. No relationship questions because I have got no experience in that. Okay, so coming to this, I start. So the first story is about finding my passion. I found my passion for space at a very young age of 9 to 10 years, and I was watching a news channel and I saw that Sunita Williams was going to return back on Earth after completing her mission. So I asked my mom that who is Sunita Williams, and she told me that she is an astronaut. Then I asked her, like, what does astronaut do? And she said that, astronaut are people who go to space to do some research work. And then I asked her, why do they go to space? Now, this time she said that you'll get the answer when you'll get grown up, because she didn't have answer for the same. On the next day, there was it was a Sunday, and then in the Sunday Times, there was a picture of a space shuttle. Like, have you guys seen space shuttle ever in a photograph at least? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Most of us have seen that. It's a rocket that looks like an aircraft. I asked questions so that I just wanted to confirm whether I'm audible or not. Okay. Now at that time I decided to make one small non-working model out of waste, and that is what I did. Yeah, from a waste plastic bottle, I made a model of space shuttle. That was my first model. That was non-working model though. And next day I went to my school, and I was an introvert. I was an introvert till my college time. Uh, and my ma'am, my teacher, one of my teachers, she asked me that, like, how many of you seen news channel on or news on Saturday? And I could not recall anything at that time. Then she asked, how many of you know Sunita Williams? And then I raised my hand, and then I answered that she's an Indo-American astronaut, and that was for the very first time I got the feeling of being scientist. Just kidding, because no one in my class knew the answer, and I was a person who actually knew the answer. And you know, uh, you feel good being an introvert when you give an answer in your class. So I felt really good. And then my teacher, she asked me that, what does astronaut do? And then I said that they go to space to do some research work. And then she asked me, why do they go to space and what do they do there? And at this time, I didn't have any answer. I could not tell her that, you'll get the answer, you can grow up because, but then I took that rocket model that I created to my school and I showed it to my teacher and with an expectation that she might get happy, but she was not happy with looking at the design. The reason was I made an American flag on it. So I was a typical Gujarat board student. Whatever we studied from books, we directly put it to our answer sheet every time. That is what I did. Whatever I saw in the design, I created the same one. On that day, I promised my ma'am that one day I'll build a rocket that can go to space with an Indian flag on it. I have, to be honest, I was not aware about the complexity of building a rocket at that age. I was not so matured, but I did it. And that is how, I never I never imagined that I would take that promise so seriously in future. But then I started, liking this everything that was related to space. At that time, I didn't have internet connections. I didn't have smartphone, and that is why it was difficult for me to get knowledge about space. But I used to watch discovery shows. Most of you might have seen, if you are space geeks, you might have seen few shows like Through the Wormhole, then Cosmos, and how universe works. So those were few of the shows that I used to watch and I used to gather knowledge about space. And when you're young, you don't know the difference between space tech. You don't know what is aerospace. You don't know what is astrophysics, space science. You feel everything which is related to space is good, and you're fascinated about that. So I started reading about space from encyclopedia, and I gathered some knowledge from there. I was not aware about that one day that my passion is going to become my profession. But one thing was for sure, I always wanted to be an aerospace engineer. Most of people in our country, they believe that, or they think that to be a space engineer or a space scientist, you need to pursue aerospace engineering, which is a myth. Okay, it's not true. And I used to believe that. So it became my dream to be an aerospace engineer. But then I started messing up with my studies. Like I got failed in mathematics in ninth grade. I got 60% grades in 10th. In 11th, I failed in physics, which is one of the most crucial subject if you want to build rockets or if you want to design something in aerospace. Uh, in 12th, I got 42% grades. Now that was not enough for me to get into any elite institutions like IIT, NIT, or any other college. I went for BSc Physics for 7 days. I dropped out of it, and then I joined an engineering college. I got admission in one of the, you know, local colleges in Surat, in electronics department. Okay. And like I'm the first like official engineer in my family. Unfortunately, okay, just kidding. Uh, that is how my academic journey was, and since my childhood. But one thing was very clear: I always wanted to be a part of space industry in any way. Now, I could not go to any aerospace college or any elite institution. But one thing was very clear in my mind that I have to do something so that I get a job opportunity at ISRO, because at that time we only knew ISRO, no private companies were there. So I thought of working towards a direction so that I can get a job there at ISRO. Now, like every student for first two semesters, I really worked hard. But in third semester, I got my first backlog. And in engineering, if you get a backlog once, it becomes a legacy. You keep getting it. And that is what happened with me. So I maintained my consistency in getting backlog somehow. And now this is interesting. In 2014 or 15, I was supposed to have my first industrial visit to ISRO. And like every other kid, I was super excited because most of us have seen ISRO in just television and during PSLV launches. And this was very first time when I was supposed to be there at the same place to meet the scientists there. So I went there and my classmates were there with me, but they were not so excited as me. So I decided to stand in front of the ISRO symbol, the logo that they have got outside the campus, and to click a picture with it. And I did so. And I uploaded on social media, writing a very beautiful caption. I wrote that, I'm standing right now at my dream place. After a few years, I'll be working here. Right? Am I audible? Yes or no? Just a confirmation once again.
Yes, you're audible. You're
Okay,
audible.
perfect. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And then I entered the campus. The scientists there, they showed us each and every component which was there, the models which are there. In the end, the scientists, they said that we are open for questions, so you can ask questions. And no one raised their hand, so I decided to raise my hand and to ask questions. The first question, the one of the most stupid question I ever asked is how to join ISRO. Stupid not because of the company, but just because you could find details over internet easily, and you could have like I could have asked something much fruitful, and but I asked this how to join ISRO, and then the answer that I got at that time was first thing, like to be a part of ISRO, your academic performance should be really good. You should belong to an elite institution, and you should have good grades, and you should at least not have backlogs. And remember, I had many backlogs. And at that time, I really got depressed because since childhood, I was dreaming to work at ISRO and to contribute in the space industry. But now I was not even eligible to apply for ISRO. So I really got depressed when I was returning back. When I was going to ISRO, I was super excited, but by returning, I was getting negative thoughts in my mind or what to do next now. At that time, it was difficult for me to handle the situation. But then after a few days, I started accepting that I cannot be a part of ISRO now, but I have to do something on my own. So I could recall everything that I used to do in my childhood. I used to make model rockets. I used to fly them using firecrackers. I decided to work on that. So in 2015, I went to Bulgaria for my internship program, and when I returned back in November 2015, I started a rocket club in my college campus. I was from local college that we didn't have computers in a computer lab at that time. Like we were shifted to another college. That's why the other building. But then I had to manage something there, and I had to really come up with more and more innovation. So I collected a group of people there, and I started working on model rockets. We tried out building 36 plus rockets, all failed. And then in 2016, we thought of building a CANSET, and we failed in building the communication system for the same. So we had to shut down the project. And then in 2016, I thought of going to different schools and universities to talk to their management and to allow so that they could allow me to talk to the students to spread awareness about space programs which are going on in India. At that time, Team Indus were there, but no one was knowing, like not everyone was knowing them. So I really wanted to spread awareness about space activities going in India. But every school and colleges that I visited, they asked me one question: do you belong to ISRO or have you ever worked with ISRO? And when I said no, they didn't give me permission. So one thing again that came in my mind is that in our country, everyone thinks that if you're doing something related to rockets, people will think that you belong to ISRO or you belong to DRDO. That was something I wanted to change. And I got permission in 3 schools to conduct the sessions, and because I studied in those schools in my childhood, so I got the permission there. And this was the first story where I found my passion, and then I lost it. Not the passion, but the dream that I had of going and working at ISRO, and knowing the mindset of people which we had at that time in our country. Now, second story is about when I got the tagline that space is for everyone. This is connecting one now. Okay? And this is interesting. In 2016, my college actually got a receiver of India's first navigation system, which is IRNSS, Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System, which is also known as NAVIC. So India have developed its own navigation now. We are no more going to be reliable on GPS. So that is what India developed, and my college was one of the colleges in India who got that receiver for research purpose. And my professor was really working hard on it, and he's still working. And 5 girls from different colleges, they were doing their final year project on that particular system in my campus. So my professor, he told me that in December 2016, you have to travel to Dehradun, where you have got ISRO, one of the ISRO's center, which is responsible for remote sensing, building remote sensing technology. You have to go there and you have to present the paper. So the girls were supposed to present paper there, and I was just traveling with them for as a support system. So we were traveling there, and one of the girls, she asked me that, Sunny, where are the slides? Okay. I said, our presentation is tomorrow, and we are engineers. We do not prepare our slides the day before. We prepare them on the day itself. So I'll give it to you by tomorrow. We had the presentation in afternoon. In morning, she called me up again at 8 a.m. She asked, Sunny, where are the slides? I said that the presentation is an afternoon, so I'll submit it by lunchtime. I submitted the presentation of 5 slides total. First was name, and the last was a thank you slide. And then we went to the seminar hall in afternoon, where the first presentation was going on. So when we entered, the presentation was already going on. Now that girl, she, before going there, she asked me that, Sunny, I'm really nervous. I don't know what I'm going to speak there. I told her only one thing. Don't feel nervous. The center of ISRO where we are standing is responsible for building remote sensing technology. And our research work is completely there on navigation technology. So the scientists here have got no knowledge about navigation. So don't worry. Whatever we'll be speaking, they have to accept things. Now she got confident enough. When we entered, the first presentation was going on. And in the end of the presentation was the name of the person who was presenting it. And the name was Dr. Anil Kumar. Now guess who was he? He was the chief scientist who actually worked on India's navigation system. And remember what I told to that girl, the scientists here have got no knowledge about navigation. Now that girl turned and looked at me. I told her only one thing. Best of luck. The presentation happened. We got many questions. And on the next day, we went there for the conclusion session in which they were sharing vote of thanks. But then they said that we'll have award ceremony now. So we thought that we were a bunch of people who were sitting in the last row in black jerseys and just gossiping about different things. And then they said that the first category is for best paper presentation award. So I thought because other students and other groups were from ISRO, they were from IITs and IITs, and we were only group of students from the local college. So I thought they would get some rewards for presenting. But there was an announcement, and that was the best paper presentation award goes to people from Surat. And we got shocked. We got shocked because, even in examination, if I get LHS equals to RHS, I still doubt my capability of mathematics. But this was a big achievement. This was ISRO, right? And we finally got the award. I didn't work on it much, but my professor and those girls really worked really hard on that project. So it's more about passion. So if you are really passionate about something, you will achieve it. So space is not limited to big laboratories or scientists or big universities. It is open for everyone. And then other thing that came in my mind is there are many students in our country who really want to build something which can go to space, who really want to become space pioneers. How many platforms do we have in India which provides them opportunities as such? Grades, their financial backgrounds. How many platforms do we have? Can you guys answer? How many platforms do we have? Platforms that do not ask for your qualifications.
We hardly have any, I guess.
Zero. Even if you apply in any institute today, they'll ask for your resume, which should have your qualifications. And that is something which is not correct. That is what we consider. So then we thought of converting STAR into a club, and not in the club, sorry, in a startup, which would give opportunity to students based on their passion and not on the qualification. At STAR, if you really want to work with us, if you want a job, we don't ask for your qualifications. We don't ask, even if you're a dropout, you can still apply for working with us. And that is how we got this concept that space is for everyone. And when we say this, we should ignore all other criteria which are defined by humans. So this was the second story. Now back to my ISRO dream. I'll now cut it short. Don't worry. Okay. In 2015 or 14, when I went there and I stood in front of ISRO logo, dreaming of working there. In 2017 or 18, I don't remember the year. In the month of October, I got a call. And that person had a very heavy voice, and he was asking me questions. He was asking me what we do, where we are located, and what kind of rockets we build. And I gave him all the information. And in the end, he asked me that, "Do you know who am I?" And I said, "No, sir. May I know your name?" He said, "I'm the director of Vikram Sarabhai Space Exhibition, which is into Space Application Center, which is a part of ISRO in Ahmedabad. And I called you just because I wanted your information. I want you to invite you to launch 2 model rockets from our campus." So they said that we are going to have 50th anniversary of our first rocket launch, and we are inviting students from our state to visit our campus, and we want to showcase them a live rocket launch, and we would like to invite you to launch 2 rockets from there. I went there this time. I stood in front of the very same logo, but this time I was not working for ISRO. This time, ISRO was one of our earliest customer whom we served. So, when you're really passionate enough, you can achieve more than things that you have ever planned for before. You don't know your ability unless and until you face, challenges. So this is what happened, and we went there, and we were fortunate that the rocket launch was done by the chairperson of that Space Application Center, Tapan Mishra sir. He actually pressed the button to launch the rocket up, and there were students who were sitting there, and we were there at the ground along with the all core team of ISRO. And that on that day, I realized that now this is a time where every student deserves to be there, and every student should get an opportunity. And I'll just speak about what we do today. STAR is right now a student organization which focuses on providing such opportunities to students through our internship program. I request everyone to mute and say, okay. Through our internship programs and through workshops. Because of pandemic, everything have been shifted to online. We will be starting offline also very soon back again. But we provide project-based learning experience. So I'll tell you what change we have got in the education system. You are taught theories in colleges and universities. You are taught theory everywhere. Okay. You can get to learn about how to make rockets easily on internet, but we teach you how not to make rockets. We give you problem statements. You come up with your own engineering solutions, physics solutions, and you solve them by your own. You face all the errors which comes into the system, and you solve by your own. And now imagine the kind of experience you get, the kind of learning you get. And we are a free culture-based startup. Like, we don't have fixed working hours. We operate 24/7. You can come to lab at any time. You can go back to your home at any time. So imagine if you want to work late night, you can come at 1 a.m. and then you can work, and early morning you can go back to your place. And we have got freedom for students for making mistakes. So right now we have got virtual training and internship programs which we are going on, and then we have got master classes which are based on satellites and rockets. We're very soon coming up with the rover-based masterclass, and our masterclasses are not just random thing which teaches you what have been built by NASA or other companies. We don't just teach that this is what is there in Curiosity or Perseverance. What we do is we actually help you out in figuring out what kind of payload can be used on other planets. We also teach the algorithms which are used for landing a rover on Mars. It is a complete package. And then we are also focusing on now working on future technologies like using quantum computation for CFD analysis. So that will increase the speed of computational fluid dynamics and these other simulations which are necessary. So we are mainly focusing on futuristic technology now. So that was from our side, and now I would like to get questions. I'm really sorry if I bored someone with the story, but that's my story, okay, and would like to get questions from your side now. Okay, we are open for questions. And you people, I really expect questions from you because you are the youth, and I know that you guys have got challenges in your life, and feel free asking. No one is going to judge you.
Yeah, guys. So we used to ask Okay, there's a question from Rishka Nadella. So, what do you think the future looks like for private space companies in India?
Okay. So if you see, like this is a very broad question, because in private space companies there are a lot of different segments which comes, and coming to the first satellite, let's talk about the satellite market, because that is one which is exponentially growing. Uh, Nowadays, like, because of the advanced fabrication technologies and easy availability of the components like flight computers and the reaction wheels and all through internet, manufacturing of satellite have become more like easier plus affordable. Now almost every university in India is working on building a satellite. So that is something which is going to grow exponentially. More and more exploration will be done, more and more observation will be done, and more data will be generated and can be sold to the different companies which are there. So it's going to have a good opportunity for a few more years. But the question is, who will launch these satellites, right? There are a lot of scope. There's a lot of scope for the small satellite launch vehicle market, where these satellites are to be put into space. But the launches are still, I won't say only expensive, but not reliable, because we don't have a small satellite launch vehicle with a good frequency. Okay, and that is why right now the founders are mainly playing the you know economical game, but that should not be there. We have to focus more on reliability. So if you have an idea which can make rockets more reliable, I guess, like, people have got no problem with paying. Like, they have got enough money. It's just about reliability. That depends on you. Then one of the segment which is like in India, not many are working, is ground station. Now, many of these satellites manufacturers, they have to get their data, and more and more satellites need ground stations now. So if students can focus on building ground station based company, it have got a very big scope, because those ground stations can be used by international companies as well. You can acquire data for them. And the last one is space education, which is highly ignored and underrated right now, because people think it's of no use. But space education is something which is going to be of major use, because imagine that India, if have got 500 companies, they will need, and if each space company need 100 employees, you can apply math. We need 50,000 employees. Now, if space companies, they get people on board and then they spend their time in training them, it will be difficult, right? What if we have got space education based companies which actually educate students and provide them the experience which can be directly used in these companies? So the work and the mission duration can be reduced, and then you can save a lot of money as well. So I guess in India, I've got a lot of potential right now, and it's just that we need more and more industrial leaders than employees. If you guys can think of being leaders and coming up with your initiative rather than just thinking of getting into a company and getting a job there, right? We need more companies so that more employment opportunities rise up, and then we have more and more innovation going on in the country. So I hope I answered your question and you're satisfied with this. Okay, then.
Yeah, we have a next question saying that with very recent developments towards privatizing space sector in India, is your company planning collaborations with ISRO in the future?
Definitely, being a startup, we cannot grow as an individual. We have to collaborate with other entities, not only ISRO, but also with the private companies which exist, and also with the upcoming startups which are going to get into the market. So if you have got a startup, if you are very fresh, it's not that we only collaborate with the big and giant companies for our benefits. We also handhold the startups which are at the very small scale. So collaboration is a key, where you exchange your skill set and you compensate the loss that you have got. Like, one example I'll give is, if you want to have a startup, if you belong to an engineering background, don't marry a girl or a boy who have got engineering background. Marry the person who is from the commerce background and make that person a co-founder. Just an idea, okay? Don't implement that in real life. And now what will happen? Now one can handle the commercial side of your startup. They can take care of all the legalities, and you can take care of all the engineering which is going there, product development, right? So you have to compensate the skill sets and even the losses which are there, and the loopholes which are there. So collaboration is the key, and obviously Star is looking forward to collaborate with a lot of players in the market, and we are open, and we have already collaborated with many companies out there. Yeah. I hope I answered your question.
Okay, and the next question is by Shobhuj Paul. What kind of research are you doing in quantum computation for CFD?
One more question. Right now, there are multi-physics problems which are to be solved, and if you see like how a normal computer works, it works in a sequential manner. Like everything is done in a sequence, right? And in quantum things, like they run simultaneously. So like in normal computer, you have got one bit can have a value 1 or 0 at one time. In quantum computers, 1 and 0 both can be at the same time, right? So we use that particular phenomena and the property of quantum particles to increase the speed of computation. So for example, a very good example I gave is like Shobhuj, if you can unmute yourself, I would like to have an experiment, like a thought experiment with you. If like, can you unmute yourself first?
Yeah, sure. Tell me.
Yeah. So I have given you 2 electrons, and electrons can have like they have got a property as spins, right? And you have got 2 electrons. So how many probabilities are there for these spins? Like one can be up, like both can be up, both can be down. One can like first one can be up, second down. Like first down and the second up. So 4 probabilities, right? 2 raised to 2, 4. Right? Now, if I have to know what kind of set of electrons you have got, what I'll do, I'll ask you first that which like your first electron have got what kind of spin. Okay, so you can tell me up spin or down spin, any random thing you can say right now.
It's in a superposition of 2 spins, right?
It's in a superposition, correct? But right now, for example, if you have got, then you'll select one that is up spin and the second is down spin. So I have to ask you 2 times what kind of property or electrons have got. But then in quantum computation, what you do is you give probabilities to all 4 outputs, and as you observe it through something, other probabilities get collapsed and you get one final answer. That is one thing we're using for CFD. We are at very initial stage of this research. We are still figuring out whether it will be having some commercial use in future or not, like near future. And if it have got, we'll be seriously working and dedicating our time on this. So yeah, this is our focus now.
Thanks.
Can you recommend some few books or source materials to learn? Guys, you can unmute and you can ask. Hey, it's fine. Can you recommend few books on source material to learn aerospace and astronomy? But astronomy, I am not a reader. I've just read 2 books. One I've already completed reading, that is Rocket Propulsion Elements by Sutton Biblers, and second I'm right now reading, I forgot the name. It's Quantum Computation and Information. So I'm not a reader, but I just read because it's necessary to get some information from books. Otherwise, we have launched an ebook which is free of cost. So I'll write my website here. You can download it from there. It's for free of cost. You'll get to learn about rocket science from it very easily. We have put all our experience into that. So go through the website later on, and then you'll get it. You can download it from there. It's always said you need to have high institution background to something of sort you're doing. How did you learn all that you're applying currently in your startup? Did you self-learn like Elon Musk? Okay. See, in life, self-learning is the most important thing. Okay. I'll ask who asked this question? Sujan. Sujan, am I audible to you?
Yes, definitely audible.
Okay,
Yes, Sujan here. Can you speak?
Yeah, Sujan. So, my question to you is, like, did you ever have a relationship? A personal question you can answer in your way.
Means you're asking a GF kind of?
Yes.
Means not exactly.
Not exactly. Okay. Not
I
exactly.
shunned it.
But you had a crush on someone. I can feel it. You had a crush on someone, right?
No, means I rejected, so I don't know
Oh,
what to say.
rejected. Okay, you rejected. So lucky, man. Okay. You're being rude with the girl. No worries. I'm just kidding. But I'll give you an
Please
idea.
continue.
Imagine a person who likes other person. That person don't need to get knowledge about how to propose or how to stay in relationship with that person, how to keep someone happy. Why you do that? Because you really love that person. What you do is you date that person for some time. You spend some time with that person, and then you get to know, and then you decide ultimately you want to really stay with that. Same goes with your work. First thing, before getting into learning section, you really need to know whether you're interested in something. what you do is you spend time with whatever concept you want to learn, and you ensure that for a few days you stop doing that. And even after you stop doing, if you get some thoughts about that you really are want to know more and more about, and you're getting more questions in your mind, right, and you have got that curiosity related to that domain, that means you're really interested in that. So first thing is that if you select a domain in which you are interested in, or if you're passionate about, self-learning comes by its own. Okay. Now what you do is, you don't need someone to push you. I cannot force you to like a girl or like a boy. Okay. That happens only in your mind. So the thing is, what you have to do is we have to focus first on selecting a domain. I don't recommend everyone that you have to start self-learning in the domain in which you are not interested in. You have to first figure out what things you really want to do, why you want to do, and then you have to. The self-learning is an output; it's not an input, right? And that is what happened with me. Uh, I was curious about how rockets work. I really wanted to see a live rocket launch, and that is why I started building them. When I was kid, I started building. I actually built them using the firecracker motors. They were not working well, but still, I got that satisfaction of seeing the thrust coming out. But then, like till date, we have launched 60 plus high-powered rockets. We have seen the rocket launches, and it's still fascinating for me. So it's an output. Self-learning is an output. It's not an input, right? And I've not learned it from books, but I've learned it mainly from the experiments that we have performed, with my classmates and with my teammates right now. So whatever idea that we get, we do a very little planning and then more of the execution. That is how we learn. So I hope I answered your question. So first thing, figure out what you really love. That is important.
Yeah, thank you. That answers.
Perfect. Is your company working on green propellants? Right now, we're not working on green propellants. Our focus is completely different right now, and we're focusing on mainly into the hardware side of which deals with the electronics, and other problems we are solving is the physics problem for different, orbital parameters which are there, and nothing into the green propellants. But definitely, we'll be focusing on that later on. Yeah.
I
Guys,
think we missed a couple of questions before. Karthik Shankar Kumbhare has asked, can you tell more about the internship program?
okay, fine. So, our internship program is a 30-day. Like, I'll talk about virtual internship right now because it's going on. So, it's a 30-day program where first 10 days are mainly focused on training, where first 3 days we give you information and knowledge about how to make rockets, and then other 3 days are focused on avionics, training into avionics, electronics, and other 3 days are mainly focused on designing. Then what we do is, because we get we have 40 to 50 people in one internship program, and that too from different countries. We make teams, we build teams. A team can have 6 to 8 people, and then we allocate problem statement. Now that problem statement is mainly related to rocket motor static test bed, and then you undergo 3 presentations. First one is the conceptual review, the second one is the preliminary design, and third is the final design. And our shapers, they keep giving you feedbacks based on your design, and then you have to make some modifications, and then you get your final design. If you complete your internship in 23 days, you get another problem statement to work on. Number of problem statement you solve, number of certificates you get, and if based on your performance, you get a letter of recommendation as well. And in between, we have got, like, every Sunday or Thursday, we have got sessions on soft skills and even on startups and entrepreneurship. We have sessions on how to make personal brand. Then we conduct sessions based on your requirements. It's not that for 30 days we'll have only 30 sessions. If you want us to conduct 3 sessions per day, we can surely do that as well. We can have 90, 100 sessions in 30 days. Your requirements we take, and then based on that we design the extra sessions for the internship. So yeah. And you can download the brochure from the website. I already shared the website link, and I have got the brochure there, so you can download it from there. Your other batch is going to start from 10th April, so you can apply now. So I'll share the link. If organizers allow, can I share the link here in the?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can share.
Guys, here is the link. Okay. If you just register, you'll get details over email. Fine. So many more questions related to something else. Okay, about the services you can find on the website. It's fine.
There's another question by Raghav Aditya. Did you at any point give up on your dream of being a part of space industry after hearing that answer from the ISRO scientist?
Definitely no. I'm here right now in front of you just because I didn't give up. Right? If I could have given up, could have been to some other company, into another domain. But I had no other option. I really wanted to do this thing, and that is why I'm here, still doing. And even when you start a company, you face a lot of challenges. You like Star is not funded. Like it started from a 0 rupee, and right now we completed 5 years, more than 5 years now. So without investment, without fundraising, without government support, we have reached this place just because of uh, the persistence that we have got and the patience that we have got. The main thing is, I've seen a lot of students, they don't have patience, and that is something which is needed. Okay, success is not going to be there like like so fast in your life. Uh, I've seen students when they go for a job, after 6 months they leave the job, and then when we ask why did you leave it, they say that because I could not see any personal growth. Okay. And when we ask, have you ever thought about the personal growth for first 22 years when until you completed your college? No, we never thought that. I've never learned anything from my college. Okay. And then we suddenly start expecting something from companies in just duration of 6 months. It's very less time. You have to spend more and more time with company. You have to ask and put your requirements in the management. They'll come to know about what you are expecting from them, and based on that you get the culture, right? So that is what is important, and every student should focus on that. So be patient. Okay, don't be patient for result and not for the process. I mean, don't take it wrongly. Now people will think that we have to be patient with the process, we'll work tomorrow. No, be excited and be quick with the process, but be patient for the end result. Okay, questions.
Shinu has one question. How did you find your teammates?
I've often asked this question, like usually they ask, every Batman have got a Robin. How did I find one? But like we are the Avengers who got assembled throughout the journey. Like I found few of my co-founders after starting Star, like 2 years after starting Star, and I found few people, like few team members who joined us just a couple of years back. So like it's not that you pick few people based on their experience, based on their commitments, and you just give them a designation. At Star, what we have done is these people, they joined us as interns, and then during very difficult time, other people they left, but these people, they were still there with us. They helped us out in getting out of their tough times, and now I call them co-founders of the company. So I met them during the journey. There's no specific duration when I met, but I met them, after 2 years when I got started. Yeah.
So I have a question regarding the rovers. So
Please ask.
yeah, so regarding in order to check out its structural integrity and all, so are there any tests performed on it so that it is sustainable in all terrains and what?
Talking about the Mars rovers, or are you talking about the normal rovers?
Like both of them?
So any system you make, they have to undergo all kind of tests, in which they're going to operate. Like for example, even if you're building something for Earth-based application, you have to do uh, the system test at the subsystem level first, where you have to test each and every component. You have to test whether they'll be performing at high G, low G, at high temperature, low temperature, high pressure, low pressure. Every test you have to perform. Uh, and then what you do is you integrate the whole system, and then you perform the integrated test. That is what we do at Star. So we perform integrated test where we see whether the systems are really performing good. And there are a few tests named, software test loop and then hardware test loop. You can search about them, STL and HTL. So where you create such environment in which they are going to operate, and then you check the output of the system, and then you predict that this is how it is going to behave there on different planets. Like for example, if you have seen that video of Martian helicopter, what they have done is they have to simulate the gravity of Mars. They have got a string which they have tied up, and which is pulling the spacecraft up, and that is what is reducing the mass, the actual weight of the spacecraft on the Earth. Uh, so you figure out some solutions, and you perform such simulations in the practical life, not in softwares only, but in the real world, and then you check the output. So such tests are being performed by rover, especially how the legs are open while before landing. What will be and they actually perform the ground hit velocity test. Like they throw it at the one from the height of 1 meter or 2 meter, which is usually the landing velocity for the landers, like 1 meter per second or 2 meters per second. So such tests are performed, and uh, if they pass such tests, then only they are given permission to be launched.
Okay.
Excuse me,
So,
sir.
Yeah, please ask.
Sir, do you provide like model rockets for maybe enthusiasts? Like, have you seen Joe Barnard on YouTube?
Yeah, Joe is one of our good friends. Yeah.
Oh, so like he designs the electronics and stuff, and he sells also. Yes, his company. So do you provide a similar service in India? It would be great then.
It's selling only to the US people, not to Indians, just because of the rules and regulations. And in India, we cannot sell rocket motors. That is where we are, bounded by the government. Like we're not allowed to sell the explosives, and like otherwise, Star provides all other components. Like we provide the structure, we provide the avionics space. We also provide the flight computers, customized flight computers for building rockets. We also help in making the mathematical models for designing a rockets. We help in all different way as possible. But for rocket motors, it's very crucial thing, and it's a matter of concern. And like when we uploaded a video of how to make rocket motors on YouTube, people started criticizing us, that they started saying that we are teaching something which is dangerous, and obviously it's dangerous, but the intention of putting that was not like encouraging every student to make rocket motors at their home. We have mentioned in the end of the video about the safety protocols one have to follow, and there are already many videos there on YouTube how to make rocket motors, right? So I don't know. Like India right now is not ready for model rockets and high-powered rockets. We have to work on people's mindset, and then only we can get these framework change and have the laws which can help us in selling these rocket motors. But we definitely help you out if you want to make a rocket with thrust vector control. We have already developed those rockets as well at Star.
So do you ship everything else apart from the rocket motor?
We ship everything else apart from the rocket motor. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
okay. So the next question is: did you face difficulties in seed funding for the startup?
We have never raised funds so far. Someone have asked for the prerequisites for the internship. There is no prerequisites. Okay, I'll just answer this before I miss it. Okay. Coming back to the question, we have not raised seed funding. Star is completely bootstrapped, and we have not even put a single rupee from our pocket. And like right now, we're focusing on scaling up, and we're not going for the seed funding, but we are going for pre-series A funding round, which will help us in like we recently got first research grant from NIT Surat. We have not used it yet. We have not used it yet. But then we're still focusing on getting pre-series A funding round raised from an investor who is planning to invest for a long term, not for a short term. Yeah.
And the next question is space debris a real concern? If so, are there any measures you are taking to handle the same?
It is a big concern, right? And it is going to be a very big concern after 5 years, because we have got many small satellite manufacturers putting spacecrafts there, and we have got, like, I don't know how we'll be removing them. There are a lot of ideas and technologies and engineering solutions for removing the debris which is there, but the question is of funding, right? Like for example, you guys, if you think of removing space debris, who is going to pay you for that? And obviously, no one will be putting their money just like this, right? Because the debris have been created by someone else. They are making profits out of it, but then who will be removing it? That's the question. We don't have any economical solution for that, but we have got solutions that we can avoid creating more mess there by having laws. Every satellite should have a deorbiting mechanism mandatorily. Then second, like if, like for example, if Gangu wants to make a satellite and want to click Earth's picture, there's no purpose of sending it to space, because already people have done it. You can take data from them and you can use it. So satellite should actually solve a problem which is not solved by others, or improving the technology which is already is there, right? If you're just sending something which is traditional, which have been launched by many people, it's of no use without any innovation or improvement. So that these laws are to be implemented to prevent more and more mess to be created there, and it is of big concern right now as well. Yeah. questions?
I have a question.
Yeah, please ask.
Recently, ISRO has set on navigation system, right? IRNSS. So it made public, like why there is no what do you call yeah, this NASA has public, right? It has made public, like this Google. It has GPS, right? So Google Maps are there. So it has been collaborated. So we can also, like, I mean, the ISRO can also collaborate with some company and launch its own app kind of system in India, right?
ISRO have done it, I guess. I don't know about the app, but they have collaborated with, I'm not sure, with Qualcomm, and they collaborated with the MI phones for having those receivers, chips. For application, I've got no idea because I've never seen anything on their website or on their Twitter account. But yes, ISRO is coming up with more and more collaborations with the private companies. They're pretty open now, and if you have got any idea, if you can create an app for them, like you can surely contact them. Okay, someone have asked, how can we start learning communication technology used in space tech? Do you train candidates in that area? Like we have got a satellite masterclass which is coming up, which have got nothing much into the communication side, but it's mainly into satellite building. I guess it's going to be there on 20th of this month. But communication, I guess there is enough of data sources available on internet. You can learn about the types of modulation techniques which are used for space-based communication. You can search about laser-based communication, which is going to be future of space communication now, because it will provide better accuracy and higher data rate. So you can search about it and you can learn it. Like there's enough of sources which is available. If you get stuck at any point, you can feel free to contact us. We'll help you out. Yeah.
So, can you speak more about the Martian Society and the Mars Society Club and the Moon Society clubs we have?
Sure. So I have no much idea about them. I knew about the Mars Generation because I was connected to a lot of people there. But the Mars Society, I guess, is founded by Robert Zubrin. I don't know whether it's founded by him or he is the main leader there. But I'm sure they are mainly focusing on the innovations which are dealing with Mars, like not only the rockets or the spacecrafts, but also the technologies which includes virtual reality for Mars, then Mars habitat, and then the settlement based projects. And they have got many competitions which they launch, and they also have got symposium where you can submit your idea and you can get your research paper published in their journal. So it is a very active community of people, and I've been connected with a lot of people who are part of that community. I've seen them designing stuffs for that can work on Mars. So that is something fascinating, and being students, if you can follow them on social media platforms, that will definitely give you a lot of overview about them and the opportunities which are coming in your future. I guess we have got a question. You mentioned that you don't need a degree from a reputed institute to work in your company, but do you have bare minimum prerequisites to work here? No. What we focus on is mainly two things. One is an ability to learn. Like you should be really passionate about this domain so that you believe in self-learning. And the second thing is your kind of culture you can sustain at the company. We mainly focus on having a very happy working culture at Star. We don't like people who don't believe in our vision. Like not like means not like working with people. Like okay, and in here people are not wrong. People are not wrong, right? It's just that they are not in the right environment. Okay? This is a place where we have got, like for example, if you make me sit in a amongst the people who are into shairi, I won't be comfortable there because I don't like shairis, right? And that is why, that doesn't mean that I am wrong or those the community is wrong. It's just I'm not fitting there. I'm not at the right environment, the place where I need to be. So we don't entertain people who don't we don't we clearly show them the way that if you don't believe in vision, if you're not passionate, and if you're just here for for certificate or LOR, I think you should be there in some other institute, because we really want to keep a culture really happy, and that happens only when you are there here for a purpose, for a for your passion. So that is something which is important, and that we do with an interview. I guess Gangu might be knowing we had an interview for him, and we asked only 5 questions, and none of them was technical, right?
Yes, 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 sir.
Did we
It's none of
ever
them is technical.
and did we ever ask for your I seriously don't know from his, what qualification like he have got, and we don't usually ask for the grades as well. And the 5 questions that we asked was based on knowing you as a person and not your knowledge. So we never check your knowledge for for getting you on board. The only thing we see is really are you really passionate about what you want to do, and if you're passionate, you can get the opportunity.
Yes, sir. Like they actually ask more about whether you're really passionate into space and all. And first thing, so if you're into it, then you're almost in to the internship program.
Any more questions do we have got? Do you guys work on rover technology? Good question. Rovers, you might have seen my social media platform. That is why you might have asked this, I am sure. But not working on rovers right now, but I'm working on something which is going to be good for students community. Okay, let me tell you what we're working for. I've not shared it anywhere else. Okay, but keep it secret among us. Otherwise, I'll be fired from the company. No, that's fine. I can share
Sir,
it.
regarding that, actually we are uploading this in YouTube, right?
Okay, that's fine. Completely fine. So thing is, what we'll be doing is, right now we're focusing on, like, if you see rover technology, if you search about how to make rovers, you'll find very, what we say, uh, basic detail on internet. Like they have got wheels, they have got this systems like mobility systems like this rocker bogie suspension. But we had started focusing on coming up with the whole interplanetary rover based mission masterclass, where we'll teach you not only how to, like, what are the essential components for rovers, but also about the orbital parameters and also about the landing on the surface. So we are working on that, and we'll be surely coming up with the masterclass very soon. We'll be making an official announcement on social media platform. Yeah, so that is what we're focusing on.
Excuse me, sir. So, so like the rocket, as per the physics, sir, it's intrinsically unstable, and we do everything to make it stable so that it can escape the gravity forces, right?
Yep.
So means, do you think that something radical or a change can happen? Like, is rocket the only way? Like something different? What do you think? Can it happen or not? Or what kind of change means the possibilities exist for the future?
You mean like some other vehicle than the rockets?
Yes, means because rockets, as we see, like how do they land? It's very inefficient. Like by physics also, it's inefficient, and we lose a lot of mass. We have generally, unless we have the reusable one, we generally lose most of it. And so yes, I'm asking about a different means kind of a different method of space travel, maybe.
Yeah. So
where do you see if it can happen or not?
First thing, like, we live on planet which have got a good thick atmosphere and a good amount of gravitational pull, and that is why we have to spend enough of energy to escape it. And rockets, they use some chemical energy which is converted into the force, and then we keep on traveling in one direction. Now if you see, like, people have come up with the concept of balloon launch. So now what you can do is, like, you need thrust, you need force to escape the earth's gravity. That is for sure. Like, you can do it in less amount on moon or other planets which have got lesser gravitational pull than the earth, but for earth it is essential. We have got ion propulsion which cannot send some spacecraft from earth surface to the space, right? Like, it's an interspace travel, and that is just because of the gravitational pull which is there. What I see right now is, I don't know whether there will be a very big change, but we can make things more and more reusable, and we can make things more efficient. The launching techniques, if you know about the Virgin Orbit, they are launching their spacecraft. They have attached their rocket on a Boeing 747.
Yes.
They fly it and then they drop it and then they start the engine, and that is how it reaches to space in just few minutes. And I guess they have got like one of the cheapest launch services, like because they need very less fuel to go to space now. And they need also very less time because their aircraft it gets parallel to the orbit they want to achieve, and then they drop the rocket. So it's easy for rocket now to travel straight without taking any turn.
Yes, yes. And Virgin has an own airlines also.
Yeah, so they can have the aircraft easily, right? So that is the thing. You can come up with more and more launching techniques, or second, you can use Earth's geography to reduce your amount of fuel that is needed. If you launch something from the equator, you need less fuel because the gravitational pull is less there. Second thing is you have got the centripetal force which adds on the velocity to the rocket's velocity, and that is why you need less fuel there. So you can work like if you want to climb Mount Everest, there will be challenges. You cannot change the Mount Everest, but you can change yourself. That is what we have to do. Here we have got challenges of escaping the Earth's velocity, Earth's atmosphere. For that we need to work, but we have to make ourselves more efficient, and that can be done by applying better and better physics, and knowing more and more dynamics of the whole system. Assuming that our ASC club wants to build a startup in rocket making, what will be a basic tip for us? Okay. Get a purpose of building rockets. Okay, it's not that you are just passionate about something and you start building. There should be a strong purpose of behind whatever you do, because passion is good enough to get you started, but then purpose is something which keeps you going during tough times. So get a very strong purpose of whatever thing you want to do. And then you mentioned that satellites need to be launched to solve a problem. What do you think is the biggest unsolved problem for? I cannot go. Okay. Unsolved problem for which satellites are built to solve it. Oh, there are a lot of satellites almost into the most of the applications that are there. But still, like we can increase the accuracy by having the upgraded technologies. There are a few more technologies which are to be tested. Like don't have a propulsion system for small scale satellites, for CubeSats. There are a few companies who are working on them, but I guess they are not there in space. So you can come up with some propulsion system for CubeSat which can still keep the mass in the limit, and then it can help you in to propel in space. You can have CubeSats for interplanetary missions, right? Why everyone in India is focusing just on low Earth orbit? I think people should start focusing on lunar orbit. Now you should start focusing on Venus and Mars. You can have CubeSats there. You can do a lot of exploration. So there are a lot of opportunities there out, but we should now think broad. That is the solution for this problem of space debris.
So guys, you can ask the questions if you have any, like directly, like if you're like really shy enough, you can even text it in the chat.
And even if you're shy enough to write the text, you can write us on star@surat@gmail.com. We'll surely reply.
Yeah.
I guess we're done with the questions. So.
Okay, well then. So, Shobhuj, will you proceed then?
Yeah, I'm going to proceed. So, if there are no other questions, if there are, just post them in the chat right now. Otherwise, I would like to thank Mr. Sunny Kabrawala for such a wonderful session. It is very informative. Thank you, sir, for giving us your time during a busy schedule. I would like to thank all the audience members for attending the talk. I hope all of you enjoyed and learned something from it. And I would like to thank AAC for hosting this talk and giving all of us an opportunity to learn more about space technology and private rocketry as it is in today's date. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Sunny.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. And remember, guys, space is for everyone, and we are always there for you. So if you have got any query, if you need any help, and not only technical, not only related to career, but even anyone of you if is suffering from mental illness or anything, remember our team is there. We have got the email address. You can mail us on that, and we will get back to you and we'll help you out. Okay, so it's starlabsurat@gmail.com. We're always there for students. Fine. See you guys. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, Sunny sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.